Hi, my name's Matt and I'd like to welcome you to this Zinniac video on Service Catalogue Management Practice. This is part of our ITIL specialist course Drive Stakeholder Value, and particularly the onboarding part of the customer journey. So let's start off by looking at the purpose of Service Catalogue Management, which is to provide a single source of consistent information on all services and service offerings, and to ensure that it is available to the relevant audience. So nice and straightforward, really. Sounds really easy, but in my experience, one of the areas, particularly in IT, where organisations really struggle to do this, particularly in kind of corporate IT managed service environments. And I know modern tools like ServiceNow and others help with this quite a lot, but even then it can prove to be quite a challenge. It helps to provide all stakeholders with relevant views on services and service offerings, matching their needs and level of access. And the easiest way I think to think about this is the App Store or Google Play if you've App Store if you've got an iPhone, or Google Play if you've got an Android phone. Go to those. They're effectively a service catalog, so a catalog of apps that work on your device. So whatever device you're using, however new or old your phone and operating system or tablet, it shows you applications that will work on your device and not every app that is available across all platforms, so just that works on your device. And really that's the view, so you're getting a view that's relevant to you. And obviously other systems try and do that as well. Social media tries to show stories and posts that they think are relevant to you. If you go to an online retailer, they try and show products that they think are relevant to you. They will say something. Many of them are geographic specific, so you'll go in. You might, if you get to the .com website, you might say, "Oh, you're in the UK, or you're in India, or Australia, or wherever else you might be. Do you want the website that relates to your geography?" Because at the moment you're looking at what's relevant for the US, and actually it's not relevant for you. If you're so inclined and you've got, say, a video streaming service, you might also take an IP service that lets you pretend you're somewhere else, so that you can get access to content that maybe the streaming service doesn't want you to have, or doesn't want you to have yet. So but that's what we're looking at. What's the catalog? What is available to you, and is it clear and consistent and concise? Many stakeholders have access: users, current and potential customers, and we obviously need to decide that how much do we show to potential customers as opposed to actual customers, and is the information consistent? And I personally had an issue with that with my mobile phone provider, where I was on the red tariff, and I went to their website and looked at the red tariff, and it said, "Oh, on the red tariff you get A, B, and C." And I thought, "Oh, that's good. I'd really like C, and I haven't got it at the moment. So, but I should have, because I'm on the red tariff, and the red tariff includes C." So I phoned them up and said, "I'm on the red tariff, and on the website it says I should have C. Can you give me C, please?" And they were like, "Oh no, that's only for new customers, not existing customers." Oh, okay, well, it doesn't say that on the website, and you've now got a very dissatisfied existing customer, because you're offering new customers a better service than existing customers. And we've talked about that in the past. So you do have to be careful about that quality of information and who sees what, and is it consistent, and are you treating your existing customers well? Service catalogue views are different in scope and structure, and include information from different additional sources potentially. Service catalogue management practice covers all services managed by an organisation, including internal, external, provided and consumed. So what that's really saying, because the internal, external, whether we're providing the service internally or externally, it should be in the service catalogue. We can have different views, and whether we are providing the service or we're consuming the service, it should be in. And really what that's saying is we want one entity, one practice, service catalogue management practice, to be responsible and accountable for that information rather than spreading that information between different groups. That's what we're trying to get to in terms of best practice. We're now going to look at the success factors, starting with ensuring that the organisation's service catalogues, structure and scope meet organisational requirements. Seems fairly straightforward and obvious that we should do that. To ensure this occurs, it should be based on input from strategy, architecture and portfolio management. Yeah, so we need to consult with other stakeholders, take that holistic view, not be too narrow, and particularly, portfolio management obviously decides what services we're going to offer. So that's a key input into the service catalogue. This input helps to answer the following questions. You can see a big long list of questions there. I won't go read them all out. Some of them are pretty obvious, I think, but I would just like to focus on one, which is how should service catalogue information be updated? How should service catalogue information be updated? And the reason I want to focus on that is if you've been involved in producing a service catalogue or just about any product, so whether it's a website or a document, part of a management system, a process, a procedure, you'll know that producing the first version, however difficult or easy that is, there's an amount of work and amount of effort on to produce the first version. But to continue to produce versions, to produce more versions, is additionally difficult. That maintenance of the service catalogue. And if we don't maintain it, then the information over time goes out of date, and then people stop using it because it's if you check the service catalogue, oh yeah, but it's out of date, you need to go here, you need to talk to this person. That's no good. So you've got to keep it up to date. So the people in the service management, people with the authority to spend the money, need to allocate the budget, make sure people are responsible and accountable for keeping it up to date and have time to do that activity. So we'll talk later about automating the process as much as possible, which is obviously good, but we do need to make sure we keep it up to date. An out of date, inaccurate service catalogue is worse than no service catalogue. And the final two statements, it covers all 4 dimensions of service management and is subject to continual improvement. As I've said before, those 2 statements apply to every practice. Yeah, there's no statement in any practice that says, oh, only these 3 dimensions of service management apply. No, all 4 dimensions always apply, and continual improvement always applies. So that almost goes without saying, but ITIL, likes to keep repeating and reminding us of that, so we'll do that. The next success factor, ensuring that the information in the service catalogues meets stakeholders' current and anticipated needs. And this really goes back to what I was just saying about keeping things up to date. And the service catalogue should be automated as much as possible. So if the details of a service are updated, it automatically flows through and people see the updated version. We don't need to have a separate process. If you remember in early days of the web, if you're old enough to remember that, quite often they used to talk about having a webmaster who was responsible for keeping the website up to date. So their job was kind of to take information from other places and kind of cut and paste it onto the web, or but it was very separate, and that's why lots of websites would end up out of date or empty links, which you still get a little bit, but not as much as you did in the past. And we don't want that. We want automatic updates as much as possible to make that maintenance process. And obviously that aligns with the principle of optimize and automate. So we want to make sure we follow that. Tailoring is achieved by providing views that may include user view, customer view, service provider view, and if you've worked with relational databases or other databases, you'll be comfortable with this concept of having one database, one store of data, but providing different views on it. And as I said, that's just like the App Store or Google Play. They've got a store, a database somewhere where it's every single app known to them is in the database, but they show you a view of apps that will work on your device, and that's what we want. So either that's available to you because of who you are, your role, and or maybe your location or your contract or your device, or any of those things might affect what services are available to you. And it just helps keep people happy if you only show them what they can have. We don't really like to see things that aren't available to you. That can, I'd really like that. Oh yeah, but you can't have it for whatever reason. You haven't got the right phone. You're not in the right location. Whatever it might be, that's doesn't keep people happy. Creation of separate catalogues with different technology systems should be avoided. It's just going to make it unnecessarily complicated and potentially lead to more errors. It's a key interface between the service provider and consumers, and particularly for sales, because it's basically, look, this is what we can provide you with. So again, that's why it's important to only show things that we can actually provide you with, not things that aren't available. And think about just simple examples of going into a restaurant or a coffee shop, or where they've got a menu, which is basically their service catalogue or its products, and you go, oh yeah, I'll have the whatever. And then they go, oh yeah, we're out of that. You can't. Oh, but it says you've got it. Well, I'll have that then. Oh no, we're out of that. Well, what actually have you got? That just leads to frustration and dissatisfaction. So try and make it up to date at that point in time. Yeah. So if there is a capacity issue, if there's a limited amount of capacity for a service, then if you get down to 0, then make sure people aren't seeing it. They're only seeing what's available to them. Because it is an important factor in overall service satisfaction. Right, so that brings us to the end of this video on service catalogue management practice. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me in the next video. Until you see me again, have a great day.